Hey there, Erin Jorek here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Warrior Two, specifically what the hips, the pelvis are doing in Warrior Two. I think getting into big, advanced, fancy postures, it's really fun, it's really valuable, but sometimes it's like the basic postures that we need to work on or maybe get some deeper insight on. So Warrior Two, I could tackle a lot of aspects of Warrior Two, but again, specifically talking about hip and pelvic alignment. And before I go over my tips, as always, everybody has a different body. All postures are set up differently based on the mechanics of your body and what feels best. So just know that what I have to offer might work for you. It may not work for you. It's all just something to experiment with. So Warrior Two. So first in Warrior Two with the legs, heel to back arch alignment, front heel to back heel alignment. Play with it. Again, I none of this is like written rules of how to set up a posture. So finding a base that works for you, a nice long base that works for you. And the pelvis, again, it's going to be set up a little differently for everybody. Naturally, like I didn't have to force my body to do anything specific. My frontal hip bones are pointed at a slight angle. The moment I ask my pelvis to turn toward the long edge of my yoga mat, the front knee starts to drop in, which is not the end of the world, but it's adding unnecessary torque on my front knee. I'm feeling some resistance in my back ankle. So rather than turning the pelvis toward the long edge of your yoga mat, let the pelvis truly move into the angle, the direction it just naturally wants to. So I'm going to keep my frontal hip bones pointed in this direction. And then thinking of your pelvis and its level to like the floor or to your yoga mat, tendency is to let this back hip kind of pull too far up, which then really shortens this back side. So thinking of pulling the frontal hip bone a little bit upward and the back hip bone slightly down, it's going to increase the stretch in my back thigh. My front leg has to work a little bit more. But with time, kind of working towards pelvis, for the most part, level to your yoga mat. And then one more aspect of the pelvis, rather than letting the pelvis dip backward in space, think of pulling the frontal hip bones up closer toward your lower ribs. It's going to firm up your midsection, and it's going to put the pelvis in this really nice, level, balanced shape. Again, not one size fits all. You got to kind of work with it, play with it a little bit. But big thing is, let the frontal hip bones angle slightly so they don't have to go square to the long edge of your yoga mat. Do your best to keep the front and the back hip bone relatively level to each other, and then pulling the frontal hip bones up so the midsection stays active and the low back stays really long. Hope that helps. Give it a shot.